Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea. For my predicted lineup video, the second part of my Chelsea versus West Bromwich Albion preview, with the game obviously taking place on Monday evening at 8 PM UK time at Stamford Bridge. And what I'll do today is tell you the lineup I think Antonio Conte will go for on Monday, and also the lineup I would go for myself. Now before getting into this, if you haven't seen yesterday's first part of the preview already, click the card up there and watch that, and then come back here and finish watching this. Before starting the actual video though, be an absolute legend and subscribe to 100% Chelsea down below if you haven't already, and also hit that like button down below as well. If we could hit over 500 likes on this video, that'd be absolute class and obviously shows us that you like what we do in this channel. Right, but now getting into this. Yesterday I told you that Morata is obviously out, and that's really the only injury that we can be certain about at this stage. Saying that though, earlier today, Morata posted a photo sat in the car with Sabacosta saying training session done. Obviously, we don't know the specifics of that training session. It could be just with the physio, or in the pool some light running, or a gym session possibly, or individual training on the pitch, or even in theory with the rest of the team, even though I very much doubt that. And I particularly very much doubt that he will be involved on Monday. But it's certainly a good sign towards recovery either way. You know, we haven't heard anything from him in the last few weeks and months. Obviously, a good friend of his passed away. So, you know, that possibly kept him from posting on social media. But today he started doing that again. It's certainly a better to see him posting training session done than, you know, just not knowing anything and just Conte saying we have no idea when he'll be back. So, you know, it's a good sign. Let's hope he can be back as soon as possible, of course. Because even though he has missed a lot of chances when he last played, it's still important to have at least two strikers. I'm not happy with two in the first place, but now we only have one, so we really need him back ASAP. I also told you yesterday that we didn't know anything about Marcos Alonso's situation after missing the Watford game with a groin injury, but I have since found out that he was in full training with the rest of the squad yesterday, so seems to be fine and in contention to play. Christensen might very well make the team on Monday, and I think he will actually, after training on his own yesterday, but hopefully training with the rest of the team over the weekend. Pedro is obviously fine, but Barkley is an uncertainty. I haven't heard anything about him training, so I assume he's still out with that hamstring injury that he picked up just ahead of the Watford game. So now getting into the formation and team that I think Conte will pick on Monday. As he himself said in yesterday's press conference, changing the system wasn't a good idea. Speaking about going to the 4 at the back during the Watford game, we can almost be certain that he will, you know, go with the 3-4-3 again. And I think he will go for Thibaut Courtois in goal, a back three of Cesar Azpilicueta, if fit, Andreas Christensen, and probably Antonio Rudiger after Kane was just very, very poor against Watford. Then the two wing backs, I think Moses is most likely going to start, and Alonso, you know, as he's back in full training, seemingly is probably going to start, even though I would like to see Emerson, but it would surprise me if Conte actually started him. I am, you know, pretty confident though that Emerson will get his first game against Hull City in the FA Cup on Friday. Coming to midfield, obviously Kante is set there, but obviously with Bakayoko suspended, the question is, will Conte go for Drinkwater or will he go for Fabregas? I know I would go for Fabregas, but I'm not sure Conte will, and to be honest, I really do not know. So I went for Fabregas in this one, but we'll just have to wait and see. Like, I find that one almost impossible to predict, really. The front three, though, is, you know, fairly easy to predict, I think, and it's most likely going to be Eden Hazard, Willian and Olivier Giroud up front. Willian had to come off early when Baka was sent off, you know, and has certainly been in better form than Pedro has recently, so I'm pretty sure he'll get the nudge over the Spaniard. Just running you through it again quickly, Thibaut Courtois in goal, back three of Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger, Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso as two wing backs, and N'Golo Kante next to Cesc Fabregas as the two central midfielders, with Eden Hazard and Willian on the wings and Giroud starting up front in a 3-4-3 is what I think Antonio Conte will go for. Now, what would I do? Obviously, yesterday and already today, I told you that Conte said going to 4 at the back wasn't a good idea. But I think if we prepare the game, planning to start with 4 at the back and actually having 11 players on the pitch, it could work very, very well. And I would go for a 4-3-3. A 4-3-3 like Barcelona used to use it. One DM who controls the play, sprays the passes around, but obviously also stops the opposition's attacks. And two central midfielders ahead of him, with one making runs into the box or to the edge of the box, and the other one just going wherever is needed, really, both in attack and defence. And starting that off, obviously Thibaut Courtois would be in goal, Azpilicueta at right back, even though Rudiger has a shout to play there as well. Emerson, I would put at left back. He's played a full game for Roma, was on a bench for a full month before he, you know, joined Chelsea as well. So he might not have his full sharpness and punch in his leg back yet, but I think he's ready to play. Like, you know, I'd put him in there. Coming to the centre-backs, obviously Christensen is set to play as one of the two centre-backs. Luiz, in my opinion, isn't really a real option to play in a back four at the moment, especially when he already looks very shaky and rusty in the back three. So that then leaves Cahill or Rudiger. Rudiger's positioning isn't great, very off sometimes, but Cahill is everything but agile and quick. And when the fullbacks go forward and we get hit on the counter, with him having one less centre-back next to him to help him out, I'm not sure, you know, playing Cahill would go well at all. So even though his positioning does concern me, I'd go for Rudiger next to Christensen. Now coming to midfield, with Bakayoko suspended, most of you might think there's only really one set of 3 central midfielders to go for here. Obviously Kante and Cesc Fabregas are set, but rather than going with Danny Drinkwater, I'd actually go with David Luiz as the DM, playing the long balls and the crossfield balls and just feeding Cesc Fabregas as well. One other reason I go for Luiz is because having him as the DM makes the change from 3 to 2 centre-backs smoother rather than having Kante set in front of the centre-backs. Luiz can drop deeper to help the centre-backs out, and he's obviously more of a physical presence than Kante's as well. Who, Kante I'd have roaming around just ahead of Luiz, intercepting everything basically, and just playing the simple passes, because when he tries to go forward too much and play more complicated passes, that doesn't always go so well. So I'd have him, just roam around, intercept the play, just be an option to pass it to when we're under pressure, but just keep it simple himself. And then obviously Cesc Fabregas being the third central midfielder, making himself available for combination play with the attackers, playing the decisive last ball for the attackers as well, for them to score, but also dropping deep at times if Luiz is struggling to dictate the pace of the game. Coming to the front 3 though, as there's not really many other options, the same front 3 as what I think Conte will go for. Eden Hazard and Willian on the wings with Olivier Giroud starting up front. Hazard playing more out wide than he does in a 3-4-3 as well. Maybe not his preferred position, but in my opinion his best position. Taking on players, playing 1-2s with Fabregas and Giroud, while coming in from the wing and also feeding a new big French striker with crosses as well. I think, recently, although he's most of the time our best player, but he's also ability-wise the best player, so you'd expect him to be the best player performance-wise as well. He's still not playing up to his potential, and I feel like, his best seasons he's had when he played more out wide, even though he was very good last season as well, but at the start of the season in the 4-3-3 was playing more out wide, and he came more and more central as the season went on, and obviously this season as well. What I think the 4-3-3 gives us mainly is taking a problem with the opposition's pressing away. The centre-backs have 3 central midfielders to pass it to, can still play the long ball to Giroud or cross-field to the wingers, but also pass it sideways to the fullbacks who wouldn't be as far forward and less exposed as, the wingbacks would be in a 3-4-3. Which all in all should allow us to pass by the opposition's press, if they even stick to that tactic really, with us playing forward at the back. Also having 3 central midfielders gives us more of a chance to just pass our way forward from defence to attack, which in the 3-4-3, especially when Fabregas isn't playing, almost doesn't offer us at all. But with David Luiz in midfield, we could also seamlessly revert back to 3-4-3 again if the 4-3-3 doesn't work or the opposition try to target our centre-backs, who obviously aren't exactly used to playing in a, in a centre-back pair anymore after having played in a centre-back 3 for, over 18 months now. So running you through it again, just quickly, 4-3-3 formation, Thibaut Courtois in goal, Cesar Spilicueta as the right back, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger as the 2 centre-backs with Emerson Palmieri starting as the left back, David Luiz as the defensive midfielder in the 3-man midfield, with N'Golo Kante just ahead of him and Cesc Fabregas even just ahead of him. Then Eden Hazard and Willian as the 2 wingers and Olivier Giroud starting up front is what I would go for myself. Mainly, I do believe that or even better, a few forward-the-back formations need to become part of our tactic repertoire again. So we become less predictable, basically. Everyone knows what we do in a 3-4-3. And especially with injuries, players being tired and also just not being on great form, we find it almost impossible to just be too good for anyone to do anything against what we do in a 3-4-3, even if they know what we do, which is basically what we did and had to do most of the games in the second half of last season and, when things were still going better at the start of this season as well. Doing this against West Brom, going back to a forward at the back, who are bottom of the table and at the bridge as well, would be a really good start to try it again in my opinion. We should really beat West Bromwich Albion anyway, no matter what formation we use. Of course, the way we have been playing recently, West Brom might also beat us, but on paper, we should beat West Brom no matter what we go with. But it's certainly a better game to try forward at the back again than Barcelona, Man City or Manchester United, which are obviously some of the upcoming games we have. Just like Hull City was an easier place to start with the 3-4-3 last season after we lost to Arsenal, than say trying it for the first time against Man City away or something. Obviously after we lost 3-0 to Arsenal last season, our next game was Hull City away, and that's the first time we tried the 3-4-3 in. Now obviously I know that Conte won't go for that, of course, but as the game is on Monday and I had time to speak about what I'd like to do and just speak about it more in depth as well, I thought I'd do it. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. But now coming to my score prediction. I mean, we should beat West Brom. We just have to beat West Brom. Will we beat them though? I don't know, but I sure hope we do. To be honest, even my gut feeling is all over the place at the moment. It goes from, shit, we'll just lose again, over, we'll just get a stupid draw, to even we'll absolutely smack them, get a confidence and form back, get top 4, beat Barcelona, Man City and Man United, and everything will be lovely again. It could be anything from those, and that's where my, gut feeling is jumping about as well. For the sake of it though, and I wouldn't bet on it to be honest, I'll go for a 3-1 home win for Chelsea. But yeah, that's it from me. Leave me your predicted lineups and your score predictions down in the comment section below, but also your thoughts on my suggested lineup. leave that all in the comment section below as well. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Laus1507 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here. I'd massively appreciate it if you could follow me over there. Also, don't forget to check out the channel social media, to which all the links are down in the description below. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. Check that out and follow us over there. And of course, subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. We would like to hit 75,000 subscribers by the end of April. So if you want to help us get there, if you can help us get there, subscribe. We would massively appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.